You mentioned culture as kind of an umbrella that fits over all of that are on your team, that are on all of our teams. When they come on, when you're hiring people, they're interviewing you as much as you're
Yeah.
interviewing them. From the highest level, I mean, I talked to chief technology officers that say, if it's not the right fit, I think you and I, when you came into this last position, you talked about it. Is it the right fit? Is this the kind of culture that I want to come into? I've got choices, right? All of your people on your team, they have choices. And so I
Right.
think creating the culture that attracts and retains the best talent that gets it, that's what I'm taking away from our conversation here is that you have to be the place that people want to work because that makes a difference. We spend a lot of time at work. And if we don't want to work with the people and the kind of company that we are, then we're not going to keep the right people. And attracting the right high performers and retaining the right high performers, there's probably not a more important thing that we have as leaders in our organizations. Is that like a good summary of what you're talking about as a
Yeah,
takeaway?
I think so, Steve. I do a lot of interviewing. We're bringing in a lot of talent into the organization. And by the time the candidate gets to me, they've been vetted pretty far along and they check the boxes in terms of capabilities. And I might spend time in the interview process exploring that. But I'm reflecting, I actually had 3 different interviews just this week, and we're only Tuesday with some pretty high performing talent. And they each asked me a question at some point in the interview, which is what keeps me awake at night around what we are trying to achieve as a business? What is the gating factor to achieving our growth objectives? The answer I've given each one of them is talent. Are you a right fit for our culture? Is this a place that fits you and is a place that you would be successful in? Because this is who we are as a culture. Like, companies have cultures, right? I've operated many different ones. They do have cultures, sometimes heavily driven by the leadership, sometimes heavily driven by just history, whatever the case. Ownership structure. I've worked for private companies, family owned companies, publicly traded companies, and PE owned companies. I can tell you affirmatively, those are different cultures and different operating environments. So you just have to know where you fit well and where you can thrive. And I spend a lot of time explaining who we are, what we're doing, where we're going, why we're doing it, so that the candidate can say, is this the right place for me? Whether or not those interviews this week will be successful in those folks joining us, I know in my heart, and I've started building that trust right away with them by being vulnerable and candid about who we are, what we're doing, where we're going. And it's interesting that that question they asked me each time, because I think they're sort of sitting there going, this sounds pretty good. So what's going to be the gating factor for all of this? Why will this not materialize? And I do think it's the talent of the people we have here and continuing to invest in them, and the talent that we are bringing in. So again, talent is not just skills and capabilities, it's cultural fit, it's how you show up every day. It's an important part of making sure you get it right.